We're about to pull back the curtain on what is, without a doubt, the single most important part of your computer. And no, it's probably not what you think. It's not the flashy CPU or the beast of a graphics card. It's the unsung hero that lets them all talk to each other, the motherboard. So let me ask you this. If you had to pick just one component as the most critical part of your PC, what would it be? Your brain probably jumps straight to the processor, right? Or maybe that beefy graphics card that lets you run all your games on max setting. Well, you're not wrong that those are the rock stars of the system, but the real MVP, the thing that makes the whole show happen, is something a bit more fundamental. It's the stage that lets all those rock stars perform in the first place. And that, of course, is the motherboard. You should really think of it as the central nervous system of your computer, or, its backbone. It's this one single circuit board where everything plugs in, where everything communicates. Without it, you've just got a pile of really, really expensive paperweights. Okay, so to really get why it's so critical, we've got to pop the hood and take a look around. So consider this your personal guided tour of the most important parts of the board. First step is this big square right here, the CPU socket. I like to call it the brain's throne, because this is where the processor, the brain of the whole operation, sits. And this little socket is beyond important, because it determines exactly which type of CPU you can even use. You can't just slap any processor in any socket. They have to match perfectly. Right next door to the CPU, you're always going to see these long, skinny slots. These are the memory banks, and this is where you plug in your RAM. RAM is your computer's short-term memory, and having these slots so close to the CPU means it can access that memory almost instantly. Now, for your long-term storage, where your operating system, your games, all your files actually live, we've got these little guys, the storage connectors. These are what link up your big, spacious hard drives or your super fast solid-state drives to the rest of the computer. So what manages all this back and forth? Well, that's the job of the chipset. Honestly, the best way to think of the chipset is as the motherboard's air traffic controller. It's constantly directing the flow of data, making sure information gets from your hard drive to your RAM to the CPU, all without crashing into each other. It's kind of the invisible magic, making it all work. All right, so if you've ever shopped for a motherboard, you've probably noticed they come in all these different sizes. So why? Why isn't there just one standard size for everything? Well, this is where we need to talk about form factors. Believe it or not, it used to be a total mess. Back in the 80s, you had these huge AT boards. The layouts made no sense, and trying to manage the cables was an absolute nightmare. But then in the 90s, the ATX standard came along and completely changed the game. It standardized the layout, which made everything from airflow to just building the computer way, way better. And that ATX standard is what gave us the modern family of motherboards we use today. So let's get properly introduced to the most common ones you'll run into. Okay, so this chart breaks it down perfectly. On the smaller side of things, you've got micro ATX, which is awesome for more compact computers. Then there's the most popular size, standard ATX. This is kind of the jack of all trades, perfect for most everyday desktop builds. And for the real power users and professionals, you have the huge extended ATX boards, which give you the absolute maximum room for expansion. And if you want to go really small, there's an even tinier option called Mini-ITX. It is amazing how much power you can pack onto one of these tiny little boards for an ultra-compact build. So we've covered the parts, we've covered the sizes, but all of this, it all leads up to the single most important lesson you can learn about motherboards. This is the golden rule of building a PC. It's all about compatibility. See, the motherboard is the ultimate decision maker. As the saying goes, everything from your video card to your hard drive has to be compatible with it, or it just won't work. The motherboard you choose dictates almost everything else about your build. So just think about it like a checklist. The motherboard you pick determines the exact family of CPU you can buy. It tells you the specific type and speed of RAM you need. It dictates how big your computer case has to be. It even determines which power supply connectors you need. Getting this one component right is the foundation for everything else. So I'll leave you with this question. The next time you crack open a PC case and look inside, are you just going to see a bunch of green circuits and wires? Or are you going to see the command center, the communications hub, the central nervous system that brings the whole thing to life?